All these tall people around here. I gotta bring this mic down. Hey folks, this is so great to see you out here. I think we have more numbers here on this hot morning than we did on April 15th. So thank you so much for coming out. Thomas Jefferson said that if we enlighten the people, then tyranny and oppression will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. He also said that the only true corrective of constitutional abuses is education. So that's what I'm here to talk to you a little bit about today, is about education. See, I give these seminars periodically. We travel all over the country to teach these seminars about the Constitution. And people are always asking us, what can we do, what can we do? And I always ask them, well, where's the problem? And they say, well, this politician, that politician. And I remind them, we are a government of the people. This is where the power is. So if we've lost our government, it's because we've let it go. We've given up on it. So we've got to re-educate ourselves and learn more about what the Founding Fathers, their great freedom formula. This formula, they told us that if we would just learn and follow, that it would give us freedom and prosperity like no other nation has ever seen. Now, by a show of hands, how many people have been to Boston? Quite a few. You been on the Freedom Trail in Boston? You know, we were just there a couple weeks ago teaching a seminar, and we went on the Freedom Trail. And what a great place the Freedom Trail is. You go down and you see like the old Granary Cemetery where Samuel Adams and John Hancock are buried, and Paul Revere. And then you keep going and you get to the Old South Church. Now the Old South Church is a great place. And at the last Tea Party I shared this story and feel inclined to share it again with you today. But in 1746, during the French and Indian War, the colonists had gotten word that over 100 French ships were coming to burn the coastal cities of America. And they didn't have any kind of armament to fight this off, so they turned to the one thing that they always turn to. And that is the governor of Massachusetts declared a day of fasting and prayer. Yeah. And they all gathered together in the Old South Church. At this time, this is the largest building in Boston. And they gathered together, standing room only. And Reverend Thomas Prince began to pray. He said, "Oh God, please hear our words. We have all these French ships that are coming to burn our coastal cities. Please raise thy winds and sink them in thy deep." And he went on and prayed for about an hour. And all of a sudden, the room began to darken. And the shutters began to bang against the wall. And the bell up in the tower began to ring erratically. And Reverend Prince paused and he bowed his head. And when he raised his head, tears were streaming down his face. And he raised his hands high above his head and said, "Oh God, we hear thee! We hear thee! We thank thee for sinking those French frigates to the bottom of the sea." And sure enough, about a week later they got word that almost all of those 100 French ships had been sunk. A virtual hurricane had risen out of the Atlantic. And those that were left went on back to the West Indies from whence they came. Now see, we don't teach these kind of things to our children today, do we? And I think we're robbing our children of history, how it really was. But what we do, I'm with the National Center for Constitutional Studies, and we go around this country and we teach these principles of liberty. And we take people on this freedom trail that very few Americans that go on today. And that's a freedom trail primarily blazed by Thomas Jefferson and other founders. And we teach them the fundamental principles of liberty. We use one of these books, The 5,000-Year Leap. Many of you might be familiar with this. Yeah. Now, to give you an idea of where this country is, this book was written in 1981. And in 30 years, we've sold 60,000 copies. In the last 6 months, we've sold 250,000 copies of this book. So I want to encourage you to, number one, learn about the principles of liberty as the Founding Fathers taught them, and then live them. Quite often we look at our own lives and we realize sometimes we have our heads in the trough, in the government trough. Let's get our heads out, let's live the principles, and then teach others. One of the principles here, principle number 7, In fact, we've got some folks that are passing these bookmarks around. And if they can pass them around, you'll notice principle number 7, that the proper role of government is to protect equal rights, not provide equal things. So if you head over here to our booth, you can get a copy of the book at a great, great price. We're just trying to give these things away almost. And you can also sign up. We have a Principles of Liberty seminar happening here in Gilbert on July 18th. And here you will learn all those fundamental principles that the founders had encouraged us to live. And it will help you to understand when our politicians are doing the right things or when they're doing the wrong things. We strongly encourage you, as Thomas Jefferson said, that when we enlighten the people, tyranny and oppression will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. So let's let our politicians know that the dawn of day is here. We're awakening.